Meeting to order. It is Tuesday, May 16th, 2023. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Do you have any minutes and reports received and filed?
Yes, I have the sheriff's April 2023 case.
Okay, Commissioner Committee Liaison Reports, upcoming meetings and events.
I got Transportation Committee meeting tomorrow morning. Campo Board tomorrow afternoon. The second annual J.C. Moe Police Foundation Awards Banquet and Police Officers Ball tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm going to that, so.
See you there. Stormwater Management Advisory Committee meeting tomorrow morning. Road and Bridge Advisory meeting tomorrow morning.
That's Thursday.
Oh, Thursday, I'm sorry, both of those are Thursday. Chamber Connections Thursday. We got an HVAC meeting. I don't know if that's for the pre-bid. Where's
Yes.
this? Okay. Friday morning. Alrighty, that's about it.
Western Commissioner Otto, sir.
Well, in addition to what Eastern District Commissioners reported, I have a WebEx on the Lower Missouri River Studies stakeholder updates today. Heartland Port Authority on Thursday, and Peanuts on Friday on the Echo Corner. Come to
No.
the Echo Corner.
This is the best corner right here.
No, these are the uppity ups.
High in Monroe.
You haven't lived until you're standing on Jefferson Street at 7:52 a.m. and people are on their way to work and you're trying to sell them peanuts as they come down that hill. That's when you need to do that.
That's why
Sam.
we are
Get
so much wiser with this corner here.
older.
And the sheriff is actually helping as well.
That
Do you have
doesn't
anything else?
get you points.
Are you bragging or complaining that the sheriff is helping?
He's not in here.
Yeah, I don't know where he went. Yeah, do you have anything else, sir? Okay. Today, is bid opening on EMS today at 1, so I plan on being there. Yeah, I had the transportation meeting, but I've got a bank board meeting instead. The foundation ball, peanut sale. We are having a military vehicle parade at 10 o'clock that I will be in. Saturday, Sons of Union Veterans, state track meet. This is the first weekend, I think, for that. So we will have a lot of people in town. And then out at the Ike Skelton Center, there's a military museum open house Saturday and Sunday. That's all I have. And we are going to shift things around because our public works has someplace they have to go. But before we do that, we also have gifts for you. D.A. Davidson, we met them at our West Central Commissioners meeting last week. And they have brought donuts for you, but you're going to leave them here and not take them with you. Okay.
I'm on a diet.
But, yeah, this is Brock.
Hi, my name is Brock Gill. This is Steve Gill. We do project financing, so bonds and leases. And then on half of Public Works Week, we would like to leave some donuts for you guys. Just want to stop in and say hi.
Yeah, or,
Thank you.
yeah, leave them on the table. And since Public Works wants a new building, I told them you were going to take care of all of that, and we don't have to do anything about it. So these are your guys. These are your guys.
You can send a check to Cole County Commission, 311 East High.
As long as we can
Take
cash them.
anything at this point, yeah.
But anyway,
Thank you, guys.
thank you very much.
Thank you for
Okay, we are going to do your proclamation first.
All right.
So if you would come forward, I will read all these whereases. Okay. Whereas public works infrastructure, facilities, and services are of vital importance to sustainable communities and to the health, safety, and well-being of the people of Missouri. And whereas such facilities and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees from state and local units of government and the private sector, who are responsible for and must plan, design, build, operate, and maintain the transportation, water system, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential to serve our citizens. That's one sentence. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the United States of America to gain knowledge of, maintain a progressive interest in, and understand the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas this year, 2023, marks the 63rd annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Now therefore, we, the County Commission, do hereby proclaim May 21st through the 27th, 2023, to be National Public Works Week. There's some other stuff, but that's good enough.
No, stay there for a second.
I know, but yeah,
Okay. I got issues.
I don't want
Sam.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
We'll be good on
Thank you.
signs up.
Yeah. And we will keep moving you to the forefront so that you can get,
Well, thank you, Sam, for moving us up. We do today, through American Public Works Association, we are putting on a training program for engineering technicians, public works supervisors and whatnot on concrete pavement. So that's going on at 10 o'clock, so we need to get back to set things up for that. We're doing that at the fire station. So part of what we do with APWA is there's a training and educational component for our members and also member agencies. So that's what we got going on. I appreciate you bumping this one up to the front so we can be done and move out. We have, you guys know that we're replacing our fuel pumps and that whole system. We've been waiting on everything to come in, and we understand that it's supposed to be delivered in May, so soon is when this is supposed to take place. Through the process of kind of getting all that set up, we know we had to replace concrete pavement around it. There's islands that go around the pumps. Sometimes they're actually, you always pour them in concrete. Sometimes it's better to have a form to go around it. In this case, we would like to purchase a stainless steel form, that way it will not rust. The current ones are rusting out. That's part of the reason why we have to replace a lot of the stuff around it. So this would be a change order to the Newmeyer contract in the amount of $8,055.32. And it includes the steel forms and then pump boxes and everything else to go with that. So, and this payment for this came out of the 806 sales tax originally, paid through on the courthouse side of the sales tax. So we would request that this additional change order come out of that as well. Do you have any questions?
No, I'm good. I'll make a motion to approve the fuel pump island and concrete change order.
Second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, next is on the concrete around the pumps. So we had initially, when doing our budget, actually last year, we had included money in, and we asked, because we knew the pumps weren't going to be done because of delays, we asked to move that into the 2023. Now I had 24 budget, but actually the 2023 budget. And we moved $30,000 into this year's budget for concrete work. We have to do a little more work than originally planned, and we had planned on doing the work ourselves. We're going to actually contract that out through Stockman Construction, and that's actually contracted through the bid concrete repair services contract that we did last year and renewed this year. So we have established prices. Stockman Construction would be the contractor. The total price is $55,000. We had $30,000 in our budget for this work. We're also going to do some underground piping to capture the stormwater coming off the roof instead of it dumping across the pavement. And you can see some sheets, the last sheet will show the area in question for the replacement. We're going to tie in all of the roof drainage into, make it go underground and tie it into our trench drain further down through the parking lot while this is all torn up. That'll be a big benefit to us, especially during the winter when we have a lot of freeze thaw and the pavement gets a lot of frozen ice on it. So that's a big benefit there. So there's a little money that we spent to buy the pipe to do that. It leaves us about $25,000 to do this remaining concrete work, so that's a deficit of $30,000, and we would like to know if the commission would help fund that through the 806 sales tax in the amount of $30,000. And again, this is a benefit to, it needs to be done for the fueling system, but that's used by most of the county offices for fuel out there. So this is a benefit to other departments and the county as a whole. So I'd entertain any discussion about that, any questions you have. So basically our ask is to supplement the additional funds needed to do this concrete work out of the 806 sales tax in the amount of $30,000.
Okay, I want to clarify, I think I said approval of fuel pump island and concrete on that motion, so it's just for the fuel pump island. So scratch the concrete part since that was a separate discussion here.
These are two separate, I must have missed that earlier.
So we do charge the other departments and stuff that use the gas, so.
We just started the
Should this be
surcharge.
part of what we charge them for is this, or? I mean, we have,
We just started the surcharge of 2 cents per gallon this year, so there's not near enough money to cover that. And that's not gonna raise a whole lot of money. That's more for maintenance of the system. This is more of a capital improvement.
okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, we don't know exactly what the future is gonna look like physically out there over the, past our headlights or over the horizon, but what we're spending here, if we spend this, will fit.
We will always have the fuel system where it's currently at.
Okay.
So yes, it will fit with the long-range plan.
A frequent patron to fuel pumps. We have to do something. I mean, it needs to be repaired. You know, it's concrete's crumbling, rusting, it's iced over in the wintertime. So it's just a matter of time until something bad, somebody slips and falls or does something weird out there. We're there 5, 6, 7 times a day, so it's only happens.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, I just, coming out of the 806 fund, or figuring out a way to fund it with the money coming in. We don't have it there yet, obviously, and it is gonna be a minimal amount, but in the future, it should be some for stuff like this.
In theory, yes. It would take a long time to build up those
Yeah,
funds. I
2
think
cents a
the
gallon.
2 cents per gallon roughly is maybe $4,000 or $5,000 a year. We've talked about maybe increasing that a little bit, but, long-term, yes, that could cover this.
Yep.
I'm good.
I'm good.
So if you guys would make a motion, so
Okay.
do a purchase order.
Paperwork on it, so make a motion to approve the concrete for the fuel pumps and $30,000 coming from the 806 sales tax fund.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very
Okay.
much, and again, thanks for moving us up on
Okay.
the agenda.
And take the donuts with you. Please.
Shouldn't we vote on that?
Oh, yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do you want to see them first, Sam?
No.
Thank you.
No, it's the temptation is, could be too great. Okay, we will go back to our normal agenda, and we have presentation from staff, consultants, and invited guests. And our invited guest today is Elizabeth Anderson from the MU Extension. She's going to give us an update. So good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. I'm
Good
gonna
morning.
bring these up to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And then I have some extras if anybody else is interested. I'm gonna grab one for myself. There you go. Okay, good morning. I just wanted to come and check in with you all and give you kind of a quarterly update on some of the efforts that have been happening through Extension in Cole County. In here, we've got just kind of some outlines of some of the reported engagement work and key outcomes and upcoming events based on some of our headquartered faculty. Here in the Cole County office, we have Linda Zimmerman, who is our nutrition and health specialist, and Dawn Sebian, who is our new nutrition program associate. In 4-H and youth development, Sean Eberly is headquartered in Callaway, but serves Callaway, Cole, and Osage. But in the office, we have Dakota Souders, who is our youth program associate. And then we also have Druba DeCall, who is our horticultural specialist, headquartered in the Cole County office. They've all had a really good, successful first quarter of the year, working on different partnerships with other agencies, like Aging Best, Catholic Charities, the Missouri River Regional Library, as well as Building Community Bridges and the YMCA. And so there's just a lot of good effort on our headquartered faculty and staff's part to get out there and be involved in the community in different ways. And then key outcomes, you can see these are some of our reported impacts that have happened from some of our programming. Our fall reduction participants that participated in some of the nutrition and health programming reported increased physical activity and made changes at home to prevent falls, which we find very important. We also have had a lot of contacts with the Southwest Early Childhood Center with some healthy eating programming. 4-H, we've got a bunch of our youth enrolled as of January. The most recent numbers I had were from the beginning of the year of 222 youth enrolled. I don't have the next most recent report because it fluctuates a little bit, especially as we get close to fair time. Sometimes some kids get in there and register right at the very end. Our embryology program, we had a successful year. It's headquartered out of the Cole County office but reaches multiple counties, and there's classrooms in pretty much almost every school district, I think, in the county, and some of our smaller parochial schools too, with the little eggs, and they get to learn about chick development and see the chicks hatch, and they really enjoy that. I know my son is a kindergartner in the Jeff City School District, and he was really excited about that. And then also our horticultural specialist, Druba, has really hit the ground running. He's had a lot of successful in-person programming there at the Extension Center and working with the Master Gardeners. But he's also starting a weekly garden hour where folks can get on a Zoom at lunchtime every Wednesday and talk about different gardening topics. And so there's a lot of good things happening. As far as the council goes, because that's more of my purview with my job is working on council development, we're really working on increasing leadership development, and we're about to start a process that's going to take a couple months to complete, probably over 3 or 4 meetings of working on looking at data, talking about where we're seeing needs and gaps in our community, what program resources can fill those gaps, and then the last module of that unit, I actually might come back right before we start that and ask again of any of our different county offices or community partners in the area if they would like to be a part of that conversation, because we all have these strategic planning processes and talk about what our needs are, and a lot of times we're all trying to reach the same goals, but we're all in our own little silos working on it. And so I would really like to see us partner with other agencies to have a stronger impact. But That's my report. Also down here is, you can follow us on Facebook for any of these updates. You can sign up for newsletters that come out every month on our website, and then my contact information is on there. If anybody ever has any questions, if you're out in the community or even in just like your personal life and you know of somebody who's needs programming like this or has a question on education, we take all kinds of questions. I've had people come in with a jar of bugs that they found in their yard and they want to know what it is, and we will track it down and get the answer for that. Or, asking about all different kinds of small business resources. That's my favorite part of my job, is finding answers to people's questions. So I'm always available. Do you guys have any questions for me?
I was just gonna add that we have our extension council meetings on the first Wednesday
Yep.
at 5:30.
Thursday,
Thursday.
yes.
Thank God I have my calendar.
And he's on the board, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, when it's
open.
digital, it just pops up and reminds you.
And they
Oh,
do send us a reminder,
Yes.
so it helps.
Yep.
First Thursday, it's open, so if you want to
Mm-hmm.
come out to Extension Council, sometimes they're pretty dry meetings, sometimes we have some good stuff to discuss. Then you talked about partnerships, and have we ever done anything with the health department as far as health and nutrition? I mean, they've got a kitchen out there that we should be able to utilize, be something good to work with. And then I got the letter in the mail about the 4-H livestock and ham auctions this year, and it's gonna be a lot different, so I just wanted to bring that up to everybody's attention, that you're not gonna be able to just put your add-ons and write one check. I'm not sure how they're gonna do that exactly.
Yeah, the Fair Board, I guess this year moved to change their process.
And let's clarify that that's not something that the Extension Council,
No, so
Decides on.
when it comes to the Fair Board, we've got our 4-H representatives on the Fair Board, but it's really up to that board, the different superintendents and chair and all that stuff to make their changes to the rules every year. And they moved to make it so that I believe the premiums have to go directly to each child rather than one lump premium check. And so it's kind of, it'll be an interesting process, especially because we're not able, like Dakota, our youth program associate, she can't just hand out all those kids' names to anybody who wants to then sit down and write all their individual checks. So it's going to be a little bit more time-consuming of a process. I think that's probably why they went ahead and sent a letter out nice and early so that people could plan ahead for that.
We may need a mock auction to understand how this is going to work.
Yeah,
I've
Jeff,
got
you're our source of information.
I don't know how it's gonna work either exactly, so I'm trying to be optimistic about it. I don't know if all these kids gotta send us their Venmo or something, or if we're gonna have to write a check for each one. You get a lot of requests, and I mean, many years, there's probably over 20 of them that get some kind of an add-on or premium that we do, and I don't foresee writing 20 checks compared to writing 2. Usually you write one to the livestock auction and one at the ham auction.
Yeah.
So, if you talk to them, you might just tell them, give us a little heads up how that's gonna work. I think it's gonna
Sure.
be a little different this year.
Yep. And I would definitely encourage anybody who is really interested in the fair and has a stake in that. I believe the Fair Board meetings are also open to the public, and when they do their rule changing every year in the fall, you can tell them maybe that's not the best way to do it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
They may have a plan.
Yeah.
So. Luckily, it's not one of the boards that we have to serve on, so it's another meeting we don't have to go to.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Okay,
I don't
and
have any-
you've been recruited to sit on the 250th birthday of the United States,
Yes.
which is going to be in 2026. So you're going to be on our committee. So good. We need the 4-H. We need your horticulture people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we need you. So
Yes.
I will let you know when we have meetings.
Sounds great. I'm excited to help out with that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me find my agenda. Okay, we've done that. Bids and contracts. renewal of medical director's contract.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is just our annual renewal with Dr. Kaywood, who acts as the medical director for the health department. No increase in fees from the last several years. Do you have a copy?
I have a
scanned
copy,
it and
I have a
sent it.
copy,
Okay.
so I can sign that if
Yes,
that's okay.
that's fine. Thank you.
If my fellow commissioners approve it.
I'll make a motion to sign the independent contractor agreement with Dr. Eric Kaywood, D.O.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We did the pumps. So do we have any unfinished business?
Leslie?
New business, accounts payable review.
I'd ask for approval of accounts payable pending review.
Motion to approve accounts payable pending review.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do I have one on there for
Oh.
mileage for that district council meeting? Let me see.
Okay, then I will
Abstain.
second, your motion. I'll call for a question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. County clerk to present annual precinct reports.
Yeah, I had emailed you guys that. You don't have any questions about it, or nothing's changed. We're just the same old places we always used. We had success with them, so.
I did not have any questions on it.
Nor did I.
Okay, that's easy.
How many of the precinct places, I should know from reading it, are churches?
Boy, John, that's a question for you.
I don't know, most of them.
At least half.
Yeah.
You got 28, so probably 14 or 15. Can't really find any other places.
And they're very reasonable price-wise, right?
They're very reasonable, yeah, and they're all set up because they don't really have any activities during that Tuesday. The churches that have daycares, we can't get into, of course.
Right.
We're really limited on where we can go.
I'm not sure the public realizes how good neighbors the churches are for, was it $100? Is that
That's what we pay.
$100 to use their place for a full day?
Very
It's
generous.
very generous.
They're handicap accessible. And if you have any Catholic ones, that counts for mass. So,
Yeah, it does?
I think so. I'll check with the bishop.
Yeah, check with the bishop on that. Computers, are we gonna talk about those or not?
Yes.
Let them go to
Yes.
surplus?
Do we need to approve the inspection of the precinct report then? Okay, I didn't know
Yes.
if we had to have any action on that. All right, I'll make a motion to approve the inspection of precinct reports amended.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now, county clerk to discuss old iPad disposal.
Well, originally, we talked about destroying them. We thought that was kind of a waste ourselves, because I think they still do have some use to them. So we took the process that Brian, it was time consuming to erase everything off of them and take them back to original, and we've done that. And NOAC has assured us that they could be reused temporarily until, Apple doesn't update them anymore. So we were just gonna turn them over to Jessica and let her surplus them. If anybody in the county wants them, have them first, and then otherwise she'll put them on for sale on the state website, I guess.
These are apples, right?
They're Apple iPad, yeah, they're 8 years old, so they are getting to end of life.
Okay.
Do they have a generation number with them when they talk about iPads?
They do.
Do you know what it is?
No, I do not.
Okay.
No, I don't know what the original ones were. We bought some later, which are a little newer, so
Right.
if there's any agency that wants to use them, they should probably take the newer ones.
Right.
Yeah. If anybody's interested, I guess get a hold of Dawn. Like Jessica.
Do we just put that on the regular surplus then? Or are you gonna do that as a separate disbursement or sale or whatever?
We'll probably put them just what I do normally on GovDeals, just do one iPad, is that what you mean?
I didn't know if you were gonna do it like we do our regular surplus stuff. We usually have the ones that goes out to the employees.
Oh, yeah, yes, we'll do that. See if
Okay.
any county offices and employees want them first.
Okay.
That'd be good, I think,
So if that works for you. My only concern was that they were indeed clear. And
Yes.
yeah. They are clear,
Brian-
they said they were. It took us a long time to do it, Matt.
Brian okayed it, so, I mean, just because they said it was clear don't mean
Right.
I believe
Yeah.
them, but.
Yeah, we took them off the, Cole County has a business account, Apple business account. We had to remove them all from there too. And then remove all the programming, and then we set them back to original. So,
Yep,
yeah, we're confident that they're clean.
so. Okay.
All right, thank you.
So,
Thank you.
I don't think we have to have any action on that. You're just gonna put them in surplus, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Sheriff to discuss recruitment and retention.
Goes without saying, we have a nationwide issue with law enforcement. We are absolutely involved in that. So I've got 4 proposals for us to move forward. We're 19 down right now. I have 2 other people that are in the process of leaving, 2 other people that are looking to leave. So I'm gonna have to try to address it. And I've done just about everything I can think of. We tried the Zimmerman $25,000 contract with Zimmerman to try to push out to the media to try to get more applicants. That's not working. So we're actually losing the Holt Summit. They raised their salaries at $50,000. I'm losing to JCPD. I'm losing to the state because they're 8.5%. And I'm not saying any of those didn't need it, just that I've got to be competitive. So my question, or what I'm requesting, is a $2,000 pay increase to all uniformed personnel except for jailers. That would raise the starting salary to $50,000 for deputies, and then raise the jailers from $42,000 to $45,000, and trying to steal from corrections, basically. Probably you're going to see, if you approve this, you're going to see a press release address 2 corrections officers across the state that we're paying more money than what corrections are. And if they want to come work for us, they're more than welcome to. I expect a phone call from Ann Preside, I'm pretty sure. So the next thing I want to do is, it's going to cost $127,370. We have about $265,972 in excess salary on all lines through the end of the year. So we have money in the budget right now to be able to pay for that. The ability to pay off contracts for new personnel. So something that Boone County was doing is they were paying off contracts. So right now, if we send someone to LETI, they have to sign a contract with us, and if they leave early, then they have to pay that money back. What I want to be able to do is do the same thing that Boone County is doing, and that's to pay off those contracts. If someone wants to come work for us, we can pay that contract off. So that way they can come to work for us. They have to sign a contract with us then, but they would be able to do that. Since we're trying to attract people that's already got experience, so for corrections, let's say JCCC, if we try to get someone to come here to work, if they come to work for us, they have no vacation, no sick leave. So what I was going to do is sign a certificate for 40 hours of, up to 40 hours of administrative leave that they could take within a calendar year. We'd keep up with it internally so that they could have a little bit of time and it would entice people to come over. And then the last thing, I'd like to reimburse people up to $2,000 in moving expenses if they have to move into Cole County. Of course, they'd have to sign a contract for that also. So those are the 4 proposals I have. This is by no means a fix what we're going through, but it's a good tourniquet to hopefully stop the bleed that we're having right now, and to be able to move forward. I'm open for questions. I've talked to each of you, so.
So the 2,000 for moving into the county, are deputies required to live in Cole County?
So if it's a road deputy, they have a take-home vehicle, they have to live inside the county
Okay.
to have the take-home car.
Okay.
But truthfully, I mean, I would pay I think the $2,000 for anybody if they are living outside of Cole County. If they want to come to work for Cole County, I would say we do that for anybody, so any of my people. So that way, they're in our county spending the tax dollars here versus in Osage or elsewhere.
Sheriff, when you say we're 19 down, how many are we up? I don't mean extra, but if you hired these 19, how many would be on the payroll?
We have 115 positions.
Okay, so you're 19 short of having 115.
Yes, sir.
All right.
93 full-time.
I don't know. I don't know that number off the top
Of the
my head.
115, 93 are full-time? So are you really short, all of your shortage is full-time?
The majority of them are full-time.
We
So-
went through that a while ago. I think we had 9 of the jailers
jailers,
out of
yeah,
11
there's-
were full-time.
Okay.
And then road deputies are all.
And,
full-time.
and the reason why I'm increasing the salary down in the jail is, I think that's the key to our department. If I could get more jailers in there, because I have 2 deputies down there right now, one for sure that I can move up to the road. But I can't move anybody. I have one over in, that we need help in support services on serving paper, because we're one down in there. And we have that position open. It's been assigned to somebody, but there's not enough people in the jail to move people to those positions. So if I could get my staffing up in the jail, then the rest of it I would be able to move people into.
Sheriff, you showed me a outline,
Org chart.
org chart, and the blue boxes were empty, right?
Green, yes, sir.
Or
they
the
were
green,
vacant.
the green ones were vacant, and there was lots of green.
There's lots of green.
As a matter of fact, it's decimated some of the shifts, is that
Yes.
right?
Jail division, one of the shifts is only got 3 people on it. So
So it
one of
doesn't,
the
really
squads-
doesn't exist then? if
No,
you-
not
the three.
really. So they're moving people around. March, I hit 65% of my overtime. So we've been moving money in there. And that's why I didn't go any more than the 127,000, is because I need to make sure there's money left in that salary line to move over into overtime and part-time. Part-time we're doing okay on, but the overtime, I mean, I'm killing my people. Hoy and I both have talked about quality of life for people. If you want people to stick around, they gotta have a good quality of life. And I've got people turning in a 2-week pay statement with 126 hours. I mean, we're killing them. We gotta do something for these staff members, or else they're gonna start leaving. I had one guy sleep in his car down in our basement because he had to come back to work. We gotta do better for them.
Well, we talked about it a little bit yesterday and then again some this morning. And you got the money in your budget, so.
Yes, sir.
um,
If you got ideas, I mean, I've came to you guys, Sheila and I've talked, I mean, I've talked to other agencies.
I don't have a magic idea for you. I was just talking about the salary part and then.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, when we were talking on the phone yesterday, I thought you were just adding to the starting and then I was gonna ask you about the compression. That's your favorite word, so.
Your favorite word.
Then you said, no, it's everybody. I went,
All uniforms, yeah.
so you said no on the civilians, and we had made some adjustments at that last budget on them. I think we need to run some numbers too and see where this is gonna put us, even going out as far as 5 or 10 years. If we fill all them positions, like you said earlier, you've never had a full.
Since the 18
Never
years I've
been
been here,
full.
we've never been full. But the important thing to remember is, let's say, for some reason I hit the lottery and we fill all positions before December. Whenever we start the budget talks anyway, the first line that we start on is a salary line. So if it came down to it, I mean, we have enough in salary line for all 115 positions, but we always start with the salary line first and then move down.
Yeah, I
And if
know
we have
that's
to
what you
cut other
said,
things,
so.
so.
But I mean, I'd like to sit, and I know, Mark, your predecessor, we did that when Sheriff White was here too. We'd look at it, and it was kind of fun to watch the whole spreadsheet, and you'll probably enjoy the heck out of it, but you just make a small change in there, and it goes from being in the red to the black, or vice versa.
And I understand your reasoning on it, and my plan was to wait until the Zimmerman contract was up before it came to you, but we're at a critical stage now that, we're gonna have to start making decisions on services if
So
I
I-
keep losing people.
I think it's actually probably making a correction that needed to be made for a while, that
Yeah,
law
I-
enforcement didn't make the money they should be making, so.
I agree with you.
Unfortunately, it's hitting us a
And the-
lot at one time.
And the
so.
other thing to remember too, like I give a conditional offer to 2 people. One of them can't start, hopefully can start in June if they come to us. The other one, we're still waiting to hear back from them. But even if hiring those 2 people, they're no good to me for 3 months. They have to go through the FTO program. So with the staff I have right now, we have to go through summer, which is the busiest time that we have. So we're hurting. I mean, we're hurting right now, and even if I was to get everybody that I wanted to, including the jail, they have to go through an FTO program down there, so they can't work by themselves. The road can't work by themselves for 3 months. They have to be with somebody, so I understand you're saying about the numbers. I'd be happy to sit and talk about the numbers more, but I know I have the money in there now, and I gotta do something or else I'm gonna continue to lose people.
I just think the jailers are the ones that we should be probably focused on to get them in here, because it's, to me, it's just a worse job. If I could be on the road compared to being inside the jail for 8, 12 hours at a time.
It takes a special person to work down in the jail, without a doubt. It takes a special person, and those individuals that we have down there that are currently working down there.
Absolutely.
We need to reward them because of the job they do, without a doubt. But I think it's,
But you're also building, those are people that you can put out on
oh,
the
absolutely,
road.
because
So
they're learning all the faces, they're learning the names, without a doubt.
I would want to make that one more palatable, to want to have that job for a while, and then, you know, if they do want to go on the road, and maybe not so much because of the money, but just because they want to get out of there.
Well, I've been talking with Gary Hill on some other ideas that we have that hopefully we'll be able to push out in 2024. That might be beneficial for both of us, but I'm still in talks with him over that and one of the deans over there. So we're still in talks on what we can do there. So, like I said, I'm willing to do whatever you think, but I mean, I gotta have people.
I don't
And
have a magic answer for you, Sheriff. If I had something else, I'd throw it there too.
I understand.
So that was the number one thing, then the paying off the contracts, I don't know what that would entail, so maybe we look at those on an individual basis.
Yeah, it would be individual, and actually my intention when I first came up here was to say, we'll move some money from contingency into the salary line, probably I would guess, I don't know, Debbie, but the salary line to be able to pay that off. But really, I don't think I'll move any money. I'm gonna wait and do it by case-by-case basis. If I end up getting someone, if I have your approval to that, I can go ahead and do that. If I get something like that, then we'll work through where the money's gonna, what line it's gonna go into to be able to pay it off.
Yeah, I'd like to know what the conditions are on it and stuff before I just blindly approve that.
Well, the conditions are the same as right now if they go to LETI. If we send them through LETI, they gotta stay with us for 3 years. And it'd be the same on this. If we send them, if we pay off their budget, pay off their contract, then
But
they would
you
have to
don't know-
stay with us for 2 or 3 years, whichever it
You
depends
don't know
on the
what
money.
the payoff's gonna be though, exactly.
No, we
So
don't.
each of those are different, and then the,
Well, and I think I would
Contracts.
look at that money amount too. I mean, if someone came in and said they owed $6,000, I would probably have to pass on that one. But like if you're talking, most of them are $2,000 and $3,000, I think that's something that we can make work.
to send them through the LETI is how much? 6,000?
I think it's $6,000, I think, but I don't know that for sure.
So if they've been there for a while, do they prorate it or not? I mean, I think there's a lot of questions to that one, so I'd like
Yeah.
to look at that one.
But we can call that individually, if that's what, I mean, if that's, I'm fine with that. It's just one more thing that I'm trying to, to use to try to entice people to come here.
Sure. Then on the administrative leave certificate, our phones were cutting out yesterday, so I didn't get the whole premise of it.
So we do that now. So on the recruitment deal that you guys approved, we do an 8-hour, I think it's 8 hours, for administrative leave for someone that brings us to somebody and they get a conditional offer, then they get a certificate for 8 hours. And it says on there, it's got to be approved by the supervisor and all that kind of stuff. And they have a time frame they have to use it in. I want to say it's a year, but I don't know that off the top of my head. So we're already utilizing that. I just wanted to expand it some to try to entice, like I said, truthfully, I'm going after the corrections people, so.
So how does that work though? Do you get, when you get hired on, then you get 40 hours of administrative leave?
Mm-hmm.
You just
So they
get
would-
free time, or do you have to make that up at some point?
No, it's 40 hours administrative, it's paid administrative leave that we'd give them for the year. And so we would give it to them and they would have it, and then Betsy would keep up with it, and we would just put down to make sure that we kept up with the hours. That way it doesn't put any more work on too.
Okay, I'd want to think about that one some more. I mean, it's a way to entice them.
Well, I think the theory the philosophy behind that is you ask someone to come to work for you and they'd say, man, you know, I've got 3 weeks of vacation built up where I am,
Well-
and I don't want to walk away,
Well, and not only that,
sick
but-
leave. But so, they come here and 2 weeks later, immediate family relative dies. They
Get
have no,
sick.
they have no bereavement leave.
Or they get sick. I
Right.
mean, their kid gets sick.
Hmm?
They'll get
Well,
bereavement, but
okay,
if
I'm
they,
sorry,
if
but
family member
sick
gets
like-
sick, or
Right.
if they get sick, or, you know, if they want to take a day off because their kid's playing baseball in in Wichita or Kansas City or something. Before, they weren't allowed to take any vacation time. This is just trying to So if somebody from corrections wants to come to work for me, we'd be able to give them the 40 hours.
I think it should still be on books here, just because we've got to consider the liability for that through the accounting system and not just over at the sheriff's department. It needs to be here.
Well, if it's accurately computed and calculated and you know when somebody hits the 40, I'm sorry, now you have to earn your own.
Mhm.
Maybe dual or share it, but what, sorry that we maybe talked down how tough it is to be a jailer because we're recruiting jailers. And you and I talked about where do you find them, and sometimes you find high school graduates from FFA programs. They're bright, they're energetic, they've got the right attitude, they know how to take instructions, they know how to get work done. So you're out there trying to recruit those guys, and
Absolutely.
they can come out of high school and go to work as a jailer, right?
Absolutely.
For $45,000?
45. Yes, sir.
I
And we-
found you one at your sheriff's barbecue
You found one
a
that
couple of years
I
ago.
found one, she was a server at Capitol Plaza Hotel. I got her to come to work. There was a Domino's pizza driver that came by. I talk to everybody when they come to, hey, are you happy with your job? And so, and I give our little cards out. So, where do you get them from? I think you get them from all walks of life. And, of course, the best recruiters that you have out there is your staff. And that's one of the reasons why we did the recruiting with our staff that we did. And it has brought us 2 people since we started that.
And then moving expenses, not sure how many that would entice to come.
Well, it's tough to get housing here in Jeff City anyway, or in Cole County anyway. But I was just trying to think of ways if somebody was living in, let's say Callaway County, no, Clay, I'm not looking for any of your people, but yes, I am. But anyway, if somebody from Callaway wants to move into Cole County, $2,000 probably won't cover a move, but it might offset enough cost for them to be able to entice them to come this way. And if it comes down to it, I don't know of any other agency that's doing that. I talked to a couple other agencies, and I don't know of anybody that's doing that right now, other than the Highway Patrol.
But we need to coordinate that too, because that does have to appear on our W-2s and stuff like that.
Well, and that would be, I mean, that's a contract that we sign, and you get those anyway, so.
I do not get copies of those contracts. I have not.
We've not been getting any of them.
I've asked.
I'll check into that.
I know it's another tool that would be in the toolbox. I mean, why wouldn't you just give everybody 2,000 to come on top of it if they're gonna use it for moving, or they can use it for whatever, so.
Well,
It's not out of the question, that's,
Well, what I'm dealing with, there are some agencies out there that are offering bonuses, which we can't do. And there's no way for me to be able to do that. So if I try to provide for at least a relocation fee, that might be beneficial to offset some of those costs.
I just think like, especially jailers, we're not necessarily competing against other law enforcement agencies. I think we're competing against Morris Packaging, other warehouse jobs down there, because that's essentially what they're doing. They're standing in
Yeah,
one
Quaker.
enclosed area.
Quaker Windows, yep.
Yeah, quicker, and, I couldn't do it. I'm glad we got them guys to do it.
Yep.
But I think that's who we're competing against, and they can come right out of high school too and making some very good money, especially if they're willing to work some overtime.
Yeah, we'll give them just about as much as they
So-
want right now.
That's why I'm not sure how much the moving thing affects it as much as,
And truthfully, Jeff, I don't know how much that will affect. I mean, will it only affect one person? I don't know. If it gets me one person, it's worth the $2,000 to me.
You know, I want to jump in here, not rain on this parade too much, but I think what we've talked about a lot is we're stuck in this cycle of trying to match the agencies around us step by step. So somebody makes a $3,000, we make it $4,000, and it's just these, we can sit here and probably do this every year and play the salary game, but how do we look at these other fringe benefits to get people to come here? So if it is a relocation fee, if it is paying off their contracts, those are unique things that we can offer as an organization that maybe make it less dependent on the salary piece, because we're just gonna keep playing that game over and over and over again. So, you know, maybe some of these fringe benefits, you know, certain people won't qualify, so it's not something across the board. So it probably has a lower impact on the budget than giving everybody, say, another $2,000. But it makes us unique and stands out and gives us some more tools in the toolbox. So that's just kind of my 2 cents. You know, some of these things are something that I would look at doing if we got into a spot again. So, you know, I think it's a great idea.
And one of the things that we talk about whenever we do when I do my conditional offer, my expectations, is the 3 things that one of our, I guess, creeds that we go by is God, family, work, right? So, and I think us being able to offer these fringe benefits goes along with that family, the family values thing, to let them know that we believe that their family's important. And again, I'm not trying to raise their money to where everyone is rich and buying brand new pickups. I'm okay with that because it usually locks them down where they have to stay with me for a little bit longer, and that's where I'm trying to get to.
I'm okay with going forward with this number one, number 2, and 3 and 4. Yes, but I'd like to almost like
Case by case.
case by case and real-time tracking. In other words, every week or every pay period you report, during this last pay period, I've offered $2,000 twice, whatever, and keep cumulative, know what we're talking about, as well as the administrative leave. So after some period of time, X number of months, you're going to be able to say, this, I've done the 2,000 3 times, I've done the 40 hours administrative leave twice, whatever. So we track what this is doing, whether it's
Sure.
working or not, and what it's costing.
I'm okay with 1 today, but 2, 3, and 4, I'd like to do case by case. I mean, it's up to y'all. If y'all don't want to attack them case by case, then you can, but
Well-
I'd kind of like to tiptoe through that garden.
I think too, I'm good with 1 and 2 and, you know, as Harry said, 3 and 4, we track those, but,
When you say, I may go your way on this, Jeff, that under 2, will we treat it that if he can make that offer, we can track that offer, and if it hasn't become too expensive, we can keep going, or do you say each one has to?
Well, then, can I make a recommendation?
Sure.
If you approve number 1, I'm good with that, of course, that's the main reason I'm here. 2, 3, and 4, if you could tentatively approve those 3, and then I'll work with you 3 on those. What I don't want to do is, I don't want to have to wait a week to offer somebody a job because I want to pay their contract off, but I have to wait a week before I can tell them. If I could just simply send you an email saying, hey, we've got one lined up for $2,100, or we have one lined up for a contract and it's $2,000, they're going to sign a contract for 2 years, instead of coming before the commission every time.
I guess we can do that, and we would just have to ratify it in the next meeting or whatever, vote to approve it then. The 40 hours of administrative leave, I mean, that should be pretty enticing to them too.
I would think so.
Just don't know how far across the rest of the county we're gonna have to look at. You know, we're gonna have to do that if we have to recruit EMS personnel
Well, I
or
think-
nurses or
Well, I think
maintenance
nurses, I think
auditors.
I think if you look at those that are hurting for staffing, I think absolutely you should look at that. I mean, those that are hard to get those positions, nursing, of course, and EMS, juvenile, me, I think those are, and even public works to a certain extent, but I don't see a problem with that. I mean, I see that that's where it's coming,
Well,
but
it is a cost, and so that's kind of what I'm looking at the bottom line on that.
but it's not like the administrative fee, it's a cost, but it's not really a cost that's coming out of my budget.
Yeah, because you still have
Because
to
I'm
fill
paying-
that time that they take off.
I'm paying 40 hours that week no matter what.
and their time off and somebody to fill that position, so.
No, because they're rookies.
Yeah.
So there is no position to fill when they're rookies.
there's-
Here, you're not saying that.
Well, and it would have to be supervisor approval, so they're not gonna let them go and be short-staffed.
So how many hours is it a month that we get? Is it 8?
168.
It's per check.
Well-
2.42.
So average per month, how many hours do we get?
8 hours for sick and about half that for vacation, about 5 hours for vacation.
So if somebody gets this
the
admin
first
leave,
2
they don't
weeks.
need it, then they've got a week off
So
for
do you,
Christmas, for deer season, or
Well, do you
whatever they
wanna
wanna do, and it really wasn't a recruiting tool for them.
well, then we can reduce it to
So-
20 hours then, if you think that's do it for 6 months. That'll get them past the FTO program, and in 6 months, they should have enough time built up, correct? And sick leave and vacation time, is that correct?
And that'd be roughly $430 for 20 hours.
So that'd be 6 months, and they'd have 24 and 48 hours
Mhm.
sick leave.
And the only way we'd have to bring someone in to cover their shift is if it's an emergency, because it's, all vacation is planned. So they're not gonna let somebody go without having that position covered.
And again, all that probably needs to be handled here.
Mhm.
Especially if you branch out to other departments.
If you want, I mean, I was trying to keep it internally so you guys wouldn't have to track it, but if you're volunteering,
I agree, I think.
can we pay that out of ARPA? I'm just kidding, Debbie.
You know, what I think, you know, obviously, number one is unique to the sheriff's department. What the other things do is they give us tools in the toolbox. Now, am I gonna offer every employee that I have a relocation bonus to pay off their contract and give them no, but if I have somebody coming here and it's, they're on the line of, you know, like, I recently had an offer out to somebody who had a contract at a different agency, and because I wasn't able to offer them any assistance in paying off their contract, they decided not to come here.
But
Now,
did you ask us?
I did not.
So,
Right,
you
exactly.
don't know that you couldn't.
Right, no,
I
100%.
think
But
it's something anywhere that.
but this gives us another
Case by
tool
case.
in that toolbox in case that case happens again, that I can say, okay, we have had conversations like this, let me take it forward and maybe we can address it. So, you know, I don't think the sheriff's asking for you to blanket write checks for 2, 3, and 4. I think we're asking if you would allow us to use those tools and offer those tools when those incidents arise.
I wanna be able to, part of recruiting, I wanna be able to offer that.
And you said it exactly right. We want to do this, so it's not going to be just the sheriff's department. It's going to be EMS next. I'll bet you on the agenda next week. Say, hey, this is a great recruiting tool. Let's do this. Nurses, we're still having troubles getting the nurses over there. but,
And-
Yeah,
It's going
that's
to
what
be
else
something that's going to
was
affect countywide. I mean.
And I think that's a good point to bring up, but I think the other point is that, don't care about them, we're talking about me right now. So,
But it's the countywide, but if you come here and you don't have any time off, and especially with kids playing ball and sports and different
Right.
things these days, or dance,
It's-
whatever.
It's about quality of life. Again,
You-
whenever you're bringing people on and you're able to tell them, hey, we're willing to give you these 20 hours of administrative leave because we're wanting them to let them know, we really do believe in that God family work thing. We really do believe it. You gotta have a good family life, because if you're not having a quality of life, you're not gonna stay here. So we are a big believer in that. I think that's what the statement is, as we're making. These fringe benefits, we're saying, come work for us. This is a good place to work.
And to address the concern, I would hope, and I don't want to speak on behalf of my other department directors, but I would hope that we would use these tools as they are designed, as a tool. So I'm not gonna go out and blanket offer all of these fringe benefits to everybody, but if I have somebody on the fence and I need to get that position hired, maybe that is one tool that I can deploy, knowing that, you know, that's a discussion that we can have with you folks. So, while yes, it probably will shortly morph into a countywide discussion, for me personally, I'm not going to be blanketly applying these every time I hire somebody. It's a case-by-case basis, as you said, and, you know, it's probably a small price to pay in getting somebody in here, getting them trained, because we're probably paying even more in overtime to fill those open spots.
Jill, where all these contracts need to be signed by the commission?
No, because it's between John and the person. The person signs it, and the person it's written so that they promise, you know, they're gonna pay it back, and they recognize if they don't, that it's gonna be taken out of their paycheck. And, if necessary, we would pursue legal action in court, and they would be responsible for all those expenses.
I just assume that they, so say.
That seems like it'd be, because who's gonna have to sue them? Is it gonna be the sheriff suing them or us? And if we're suing them, we didn't sign a contract, the sheriff did, so that seems kind of messy.
I think we're getting into the weeds here. We don't have to
You
get
guys wanna
into it.
take on more responsibility, you're gonna hear me gripe about it, then I don't have to worry about it.
They've always signed all other contracts.
I would make a motion that we accept the sheriff's proposal for, with respect to number 1, and allow him to use 2, 3, and 4 as tools, using his best judgment, but he has to come to us with the approval for 2, 3, and 4 for new hires.
Can you define 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Can you define?
Number 1 is the increase of 2 and 3, 2 for uniformed except jailers, 3 for jailers. That's number 1. Number 2 is as written. What I'm saying, let's see, do we even care about number 2?
Yeah.
Well, we
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
I mean,
okay.
it's Case by case.
Well,
I
okay,
think, 'cause we
2,
don't know what the
2, 3, and 4 are on a case by
specifics.
case, and it's with your negotiation with the prospective
Right.
employee, but there, when you make that offer, it's conditional upon the commission to agree.
What I could do is send you an email if it's 2, 3, or 4, and then like Jeff said, get on the next agenda and just bring it up again so it can be ratified, like Jeff said.
Or what you could do is just send it saying, I'm planning to do this, let me know if you object.
So,
Oh, yeah.
we've got a
That would
motion.
cut red tape.
I was just gonna ask on number 3, were you doing the 40-hour?
I would go,
Or
let's
20,
do,
or-
let's
I think
do
they brought
the
up, I think 20 for 6 months is
Yeah, I
probably
like that.
good.
20
I like-
is,
Yeah.
so 3 would have 20 instead of 40.
Okay, and then that would be on case by case as well?
Yes.
I'm gonna go ahead and second for more discussion then.
Okay.
So, that would be case by case, so if you offer it, then,
I'm
but
sorry.
it seems like you would offer that to everybody.
No, I don't, sorry. I can send it to you
Because if they
electronically.
come in and
Well,
they have no
He
time.
may well have someone who knocks on the door, didn't even know you were looking for employees, wanting the job, his spouse or her spouse is taking the job here, and I see you're looking for jailers. I'm applying. Well, if they come in and say, I want to go to work for you, I don't know if you have to offer these fringes to them or these perks, because they're coming to you, right? Now, if you're out casting your line and you hook somebody but you can't quite land them because they're giving up all this vacation and sick leave they built up. Well, that one you may need, or they're gonna have to rent a U-Haul truck and load it up.
I can see what you're talking about, and I think once we explain the moving expenses and you gotta sign the contract, the 20 hours of the administrative leave doesn't cost us anything.
Well, I disagree with that, because that person is scheduled to go to work, a shift, and they say, I gotta take 16 hours of admin leave, and who's ever running that spot says, I gotta drag somebody in here and pay them overtime.
That's what I'm just telling you, though, we won't pull anybody in for overtime, because it's gotta be scheduled. The only other way it would be is if it was an emergency leave, and which is a whole
Well,
different
so
animal.
it can happen. You can say that it's not costing anything, but there will be instances where it will. But I'm okay with that. It's not free to give administrative leave away. It's not free. It's not without cost.
How
Okay.
long are they technically a rookie?
Well, they're on probation for a year, but they're going through, as a rookie, you're going through the FTO program for about 3 months if they don't get extended.
So they can be off of that and on their own within 3 months. So those are the ones that I
Possibly.
think I'm talking about and Harry's talking about. At that point, it will cost us, when they're just riding with somebody and they don't show up, they just don't have that person riding with them that day.
No, because we don't, someone doesn't call in today and say, I'm taking off, and they say, okay, well, let me call somebody and get someone to come in. They have to put in for the vacation ahead of time, and then we schedule it to make sure we have enough to cover the road. I get where you're coming from, but if I hire her and I'm paying her 40 hours, right, that comes out of my budget. If she takes 2 days off and it's administrative leave, it's still 40 hours.
Okay, but that person is not showing up, and you've got to have a jailer. And you call one of your other jailers and say, get in here and take
So what-
her place.
so what you're saying
So there's
is-
some overtime going to go there.
So, well, no, sir. So,
What-
not for
are you,
schedule.
I know it's not scheduled.
So you're just
Sheriff.
talking about for emergency situations?
Well, sure, that's what I'm
Okay.
saying.
All
They,
right.
they say, okay, I use bereavement, but let's do it, I'll make it work. It's their third cousin that died, but they were very close, and they want to go to the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't, our bereavement doesn't cover third cousins, all right?
Right.
So they bail on you, basically.
So, and let's go with different than that. Let's just say, I keep picking on you, but her kid gets sick, and she calls on it and says, my kid's sick, I'm gonna take administrative leave, okay? Because that's all I have. All right.
Right.
But if she was a full-time employee and called and said, my kid's sick, I would still cover her with somebody on overtime. So I'm not changing anything that I'm doing, but I get what you're saying. If that's what y'all wanna do, I get what you're saying. What I'm saying is my operation would not change.
If it doesn't cost us anything, then give them 100 hours.
Well, I don't wanna give them 100 hours.
Why not? It doesn't cost us anything. You just said it wouldn't cost anything to
Well,
give them
it's not gonna
administrative
cost
leave.
anything, But I want to keep it realistic to what the individuals are.
Well, that's why I say it's absurd to say it doesn't cost anything. It does. If people are hired to work and they don't show up and you have to replace them with somebody else that causes overtime, it costs us something.
Okay,
But I've said my piece.
I understand.
Okay. But I'm good with that.
I understand.
20 hours.
Okay, 20 hours for 6 months.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Gosh, I don't know. I don't like to argue, but, no, I'm just decent.
I represent that remark.
Go ahead and call the question. You're good.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Boy, John, you sure,
Sheriff.
This is gonna.
you sure stir up.
It's not gonna start till the 28th. The next pay cycle is whenever we'll set that up. It's not immediate. It's gonna be the next pay cycle. I think it was the 28th, right? Yeah, and I'll have the new pay sheets and stuff up here, so that way you have it ahead of time.
So, and then, John, like we talked about earlier, you've never been full since we've had it, and we've added several positions over the last, I don't know how many years. I mean, maybe we eliminate some positions and use that money to pay these guys.
Well,
Let's
I'm.
get them and keep them.
At this point in time, I'm not prepared to.
No,
go
I didn't
down
mean
that
right
road
now.
yet. Yeah.
And you even mentioned that budget time, that was something you were
I mean,
considering. I think that's a
we
good
cut
idea
back
to
on
look
our
at.
part-time. We got rid of some of the part-time positions this last budget cycle because we knew we couldn't fill them, and we devised the hours on the pay increase based on, I can't remember now, it was 5 part-time or something anyway. I had a formula that we went by.
I would
so.
think we would be able to get some part-timers too that just need a little extra money and come in there and
You
it's
would
just
think.
not a fun job though. That's,
You would
I
think,
that's
a
part of the
part-timer, well,
problem.
even the road, part-time, we have issues trying to find someone to come in,
I
so.
see the maintenance requests come through and see what our maintenance guys have to go through in there too.
Well, remember,
Stuff
one of
that
our
gets thrown
deputies,
in toilets and everything.
one of our deputies was a maintenance guy that I hired away. He was a jailer first. I
Oh,
sent
yeah,
him
that
to-
was you,
I
huh?
sent him to,
I heard some sheriff stole them from
they've
us.
already approved it now, so no backsies.
Sheriff, you get a lot of help from volunteers, the group that's called
The posse.
the Posse.
Absolutely.
How are your numbers holding up there?
The numbers are pretty good there. We have probably 41 that show up on the monthly meetings. They took over all of our issue, our uniform issue, our equipment issue. They've taken that whole room over and they've organized it, done an outstanding job. We're getting ready to move them out to expand their services to us. It started out with just them assisting us here and there, and they are invaluable now. We would not be able to operate without them.
The reason I ask is there's something going on in society that's unexplained to me is the volunteer civic organizations there's something that's dropping off, and I didn't know if it hurt your posse, whether it's the Lions Club or the Rotary Club or whatever. Something's going on.
we go speak at those frequently and we do get ones and twos in. I think I just did conditional for 2 posse members just not too long ago. So that trickles in and out. You're right, volunteerism is down. We can see it, but I just did I think it was the Rotary or something that I talked to about volunteerism and the fact that it's degrading and the importance of volunteerism inside your community and the importance of hardening the target of your community by volunteering and helping those out that are less successful in life.
Is there a stigma to the name posse? Because, I mean, you think of the old westerns where they
So-
go out and take justice
Mary's
in their own
County
hands.
Yes, there is.
Mary's County is just creating a posse.
Yeah, they did because they
We
came
all
to
know
me,
what it
wanted
means.
cowboy hats, so they wear cowboy hats now, so yeah, there is some stigma to it, but I think it's all their own, so.
I think having
As I say,
Greg
I know.
Gaffkey as one of your leaders could.
That's problematic, I understand,
Yeah,
but
I know.
he's
But
okay.
then you have your reserve deputies as well.
The reserves are invaluable because,
Yeah.
I mean, they're out pulling the same liability risks as my staff does, and they do it for free,
Yeah,
so,
we're fortunate.
very fortunate.
Okay,
Thank you.
anything else?
Run, Sheriff,
Yeah.
run.
Well, I'm here for one more meeting, but. then I'll-
Okay.
I didn't invite you to that one.
Boy, I think we're down at the end. Is there anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay, I want to remind everybody, go out to the Ike Skelton Center this weekend. The Museum of Missouri Military History has their annual open house. They have reenactors and vehicles, and so it's really kind of neat. So that's going on this Saturday and Sunday. Anything else?
See, our United Way fundraiser is June 16th, so get your team registration and your donations.
Is that open to anybody, or do you have to have a county employee teammate?
No,
So,
open
No.
to anybody.
okay.
We'll take anybody's.
I think she's giving away 100 grand.
Is there a limit on number of teams?
No,
Isn't that right? Giving 100,000 away?
from you, right, you're doing it.
$100,000 bar.
100 grand,
They have to sign a contract.
right,
Okay.
and they have to review it.
Okay.
Anything else? I would entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I'll offer a motion to go into closed session pursuant to 610.021 of the revised statutes of Missouri. The commission will go into closed session to discuss the following: real estate under section 610.021 subsection 2.
Second.
Roll call?
Sam,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes.
Okay. And Elizabeth, thank you very much. I will be in touch with
Are
you.
these as fun as the council meetings?
Oh, yeah. Always. My life is just